right, everyone, welcome to the 187 District Court. It's Monday, but it's a great Monday because we're all here. I hope Melissa Christian is wearing her pin, and I see that she is, so I automatically recognize her. These are the rules of the 187 District Court. You are in a courtroom. What that means is anything that you could not do if you were physically in this courtroom, you cannot do on this Zoom screen. So what does that mean? That means there's to be no laying in bed, no doing of chores, no changing of diapers, no shopping for groceries. Please do not do any of that. And now I've added to my list, there's to be no wearing of hats, baseball caps, do-rags. That is not allowed. If you are in the courtroom, you could not do that. To all of the inmates, you're not allowed to use the chat box. You're not allowed to use the internet. If you do any of those things, you will be sent back to your cell or your pod. And what that means is we will probably see you in 30 to 60 days, maybe even 90 days because of staffing issues. So to everyone, if you do not behave appropriately on this Zoom, what's going to end up happening is your Zoom privileges will be revoked. Now, what does that mean? As you can see, the weather, we're having London fog / rain / mist, which means that people are not driving as though they should drive. You're going to end up having to take an Uber or a Lyft downtown to the 187 District Court. It's located at 300 De La Rosa. If you take the Via bus, and I've ridden the Via bus, they still don't give change. And guess what? When you most need exact change, you don't have it. So I don't think you want to take a $20 bus ride downtown. If you decide to drive downtown, you're going to find a lot of construction, a lot of one-ways. If you're able to find parking, you're going to find that parking has increased greatly. I'm going to open the breakout rooms. When I open breakout rooms, it's going to invite everyone to a breakout room. Do not, I repeat, do not go to a breakout room unless I specifically call you by name and assign you to a breakout room. To everyone who's accused or a defendant, if you are at your home or if you're at the jail, you're not allowed to let your screen go dark. The only time your screen should go dark is if you're on a cell phone and you're signing paperwork, because that's what happens when you sign paperwork. To all the defendants who are at the jail, you are not released. No one is released until I release you. Attorneys, please do not tell your defendant we're done for the day and they can go back, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to get called back and the defendant is going to get called back. To all the attorneys, if you have an agreement, no matter how small you think that agreement is, you need to put it in the chat box to the court coordinator. She will be on shortly. Oh, she's here. I didn't see her. Didn't see you, Norma. She is listed as Ferguson coordinator. What she will need from you is she will need to know whether or not it's regular probation or deferred, if that's the offer, or whether or not it's time. She'll need you to put that in the chat box to her. If your client is on bond, she will need your client's email address, and your attorney and the prosecutors will need your client's email addresses. Attorneys, when I assign you to a breakout room, think of that as going to a doctor's office. When you show up on time for the doctor's office and you're like, great, I'm getting called to the back, we're going forward. No, they're taking to you a smaller room to check your weight and blood pressure. The prosecutors have the ability to move throughout the breakout rooms. If you leave that breakout room, it will show that that breakout room is empty and they're going to skip over you and go to the next person. So everyone, put some patience in your pocket. It's going to be a great day. It's a great Monday. And we're going to start docket. Attorneys, I'm going to call your names, defendants, and those who are accused. Your name will not be called. Your attorney's name will be called. If you do not hear your attorney's name, please do not raise your hand saying that your attorney's name was called. That means your attorney is Zooming in another courtroom, or maybe they had to appear in person in another courtroom. If at all possible, we will get them here to speak with you today. Attorneys, it will help me assign you easy to the breakout rooms if you add to your name the name of your client and whether or not it's criminal trial division or family violence. That will make it assigning to you the rooms so much quicker. This is the order in which the attorneys will appear. Anita Kale, Melissa Christian, George Ruiz, Bridget Garza, Joseph Stateson, Mark McKay, Mary Peterzak, Orlando Castellon, Paul Vasquez, Therese Hunsinger, Christine McDonald, Raymond Martinez, Heather Ramirez, Adam Cobbs, Patrick Ballantyne, Johnny Cisneros, James DeWiggins. Is there any attorney who's on the Zoom screen or in the courtroom and I did not call your name? If you will let me know your name.
Robert Ramirez, Your Honor.
Okay, Robert Ramirez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Richard Garcia, I don't think I heard my name.
Thank you, Garcia. Richard.
Will Williams.
Williams, Will. And Bustamante, is that you in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, guys, let's get prepared to have a great Monday. Anita Kell. Anita,
Morning.
yes, who is your client?
Philip Kling. He's in jail.
K-L-I-N-G,
K-L-I-N-G. Yes, ma'am.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence.
Criminal Trial Division.
I'll send you to breakout room number 3. A prosecutor will meet you there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Melissa Christian, thank you so much for changing your name.
You're welcome. Good morning, Judge. So
Yes.
I have a motion for continuance of the sentencing. Bridget Garza is with me as the first chair pro tem, and Mr. McKay is here as the defense attorney. So we just need to be heard by the court.
All right, let me take that up right now. All right, Mr. McKay, is there anyone else with you today or no?
Mr. Martinez is present. I just texted Bob, except I don't know if he got the Zoom invite, but I'll handle it. I'm first chair.
All right, thank you. And we're just going to put this on the record. I understand the issue. So we're going to put this on the record just so it will be there. So there won't be any confusion over why things are being reset. Ms. Ferguson, if I could have a reset date for Juan Martinez, please. The court is calling 2018 CR 4785C, State of Texas versus Juan Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record, please? Pro Tem?
Melissa Christian, pro tem, prosecutor for Juan Angel Martinez.
Bridget Garza, pro tem, prosecutor for Mr. Juan Martinez.
Mark
For the
McKay.
defense?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Yes, for the defense.
Mark McKay representing Juan Martinez. He is present.
All right, and my understanding there is a second chair. Is that correct, Mr. McKay?
There is. It's Robert Featherston. I'll be honest, I don't know if he got the Zoom invite. I just texted him and he hadn't texted me back, but I can handle it.
All right, so just for the record, you're okay to presume with your second chair not being present?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Martinez, do you have any objections to us proceeding without the second chair being present?
No, ma'am.
All right, and are you Juan Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding with this hearing by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Judge.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we were actually here today for sentencing, but as all parties know, jury trials have been suspended, so we're unable to proceed with sentencing because the co-defendant's trial is not ready to proceed. And my understanding is, as a part of the agreement, Mr. Martinez was to be available for that jury trial. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge. Yes.
It is, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a reset date for Mr. Martinez placed in the chat box, please? And off the record, Ms. Christian and Ms. Garza and Mr. McKay, is this the only matter you have with us today?
It
Yes,
is
Your
for
Honor.
me.
I don't, Your Honor. I have 2 other settings, but I'm going to have to leave. I have a federal detention hearing at 10:30, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done there.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm just waiting for a setting in the chat box.
Judge, I'm sorry. I sent it to Robert. Give me 1 second.
All right. So the tentative date we have is going to be March 22nd.
I knew that was coming, Judge. I'm in a capital murder in the 175th.
All right. So it's a tentative date, Mr.
Right.
McKay. So I'm going to note on the docketing sheet that you're supposed to be in a capital murder on that day. My understanding is if the jury trial were to start in this case, I don't, I'm not a part of anyone's strategy, but I don't anticipate your client being the first witness. But we will make accommodations since you say that you will be in a capital.
Sounds great, Judge. I also had a question. Are saggy pants banned also along with the hats and do-rags?
Let me just tell you, I don't know why people wear pants that don't fit them. I mean, if you're a 26 or 24 in the waist, why are you wearing a 42? Now, just in my family, my older brother, he is a 26. And I'm just like, if only. But he would never think of wearing a size 42 pants. And you can't keep them up. And then people don't wear belts with them. But let me get off my soapbox on that. So if people want to bring their clients to court dressed for trial in saggy pants, that's on them. All right. So we're going to come back on March 22nd, and that will be at 9 a.m. If for any reason there is a suspension of jury trials at that time, you all will, of course, receive the Zoom link and will appear by Zoom. And if you all can make sure that you check in with the prosecutor on the other case to see when they would like Mr. Martinez here.
I will do that, Judge, no problem.
All right, thank you. Then Ms. Garza, happy federal cases.
Your Honor,
Judge,
I'm assuming,
I have two other cases with Cornelius. I just checked to see what time he's gonna log on, so I'll be back as soon as I'm done.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
So,
I've got the other co-defendant. I assume I'm going to be getting the same.
all right, just one moment. So, Ms. Christian and Mr. McKay, you're excused. Mr. McKay, do you need to speak with your client in a chat box? You're on mute.
No, Your Honor, we speak on a regular basis.
All right, thank you. Then you are both excused.
And Judge, I'm sorry, if I could impose on the court, I think Mrs. Medina, one of the victim's moms, is here on your Zoom screen. If I could be placed in a breakout room with her, I would appreciate that.
All right, Angela Medina.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Medina, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4. Ms. Christian will meet you there, and then you all will be excused from there.
Thank you.
And everyone, just as soon as we have jury trials up and running, we will, of course, take this matter up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me find you number 4. All right, everyone, just give me a moment, please. All right, George Ruiz.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, who is your client?
Mr. Brandon Day,
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
criminal trial judge.
And Judge, this
Or
is
family
just,
violence, I apologize.
it's CTD. It's just for sentencing. If I could have a minute to see if we have our victims or impact statement there.
All right, thank you. Joseph Stateson, thank you for changing your name.
Of course.
I'm going to send you to number 5.
All right, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Mary Peterzak. Mary Peterzak. Okay. Orlando Castagnon, thank you for changing your name.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here on Trey Duncan, and we were recalled from last week. I was sent the violation reports. I spoke with Mr. Duncan. I don't think we're going to be moving forward think you were asked if we wanted to have everything on record, then we can come back today, but I just wanted to make sure that I was here.
All right, did you want to withdraw whatever you had filed?
Yes, Judge. Well, I thought you kind of had already made a ruling on it.
No, I had not made a ruling. I wanted to know if you all wanted to go forward with a hearing. I know that you and the state were disagreed. And I
Right.
didn't know if you had witnesses or something you wanted to present.
Well, it would just be my client. But
All right, so just give me a moment. We'll take that up.
I don't believe,
Paul-
I believe I told him to be on standby because I talked to him this morning and we were going to be not moving forward.
Okay, so you're withdrawing the motion?
Yes, Judge. But I would like to, I guess, be put in a breakout room with the state and maybe the coordinator so we can discuss a trial date. Although there may be some evidence I think I've discussed with Marcus that might be missing.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Trey Duncan,
Yes, ma'am.
can I have a quick turnaround on a discovery date, please? If we could have it sooner than that, please. If we could put it mid-February. If you have it open, if not, okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna come back on February 16th for discovery. And
Okay,
I'll send
Judge.
you to a breakout room to speak with Marcus, and I'm just gonna add to your name, discovery.
Okay, Judge. And I don't know if it's Marcus going to be handling it. It might be Ryan's case now.
Okay. I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 4.
Okay, Judge.
All right, thank you. Everyone, just give me one moment. Paul Vasquez. Paul Vasquez?
Good morning, Judge.
Yes. All right. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 6. All right, Therese Huntsinger, which case do you have?
Your Honor, I have Andres Martinez. He's the co-defendant on those capital murders. Charles Bunk and Kelly are the prosecutors pro tem.
All right, Ms. Ferguson,
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
see where Kelly and Charles Bunk are?
Give me 1 second, Judge.
Thank you.
I
All right.
texted Charles and he said he would be appearing here.
All right, just as soon as they come in, we'll take that matter up on the record.
Thank you.
All right, Christine McDonald.
Good morning, Judge. I have Leticia Benavides. I don't see her on the screen though, and I'm not able to reach her this morning.
All right, is it criminal trial division or family violence?
Criminal trial, Judge.
All right, do you need to confer with the state?
No, Judge, we have an offer already.
All right, so I give her till 10:30.
Okay, Judge, can I log back in if I hear from her?
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
I mean, you'll need to log back in at 10:30.
Yes, I will log back in at 10. Well, it is
All right.
10:30, Judge.
Okay, since we started late because I was filling in for another judge, I'll give her till 11, okay?
Okay, yes, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Raymond Martinez.
Judge, I'm here on Cesar, Georgia sentencing hearing.
All right, and is everybody ready for sentencing on Mr. George?
I'm not sure who's handling it at this point, Judge.
And I believe this was for time, correct?
Yes.
Are there going to be victim statements in this case or no?
Judge Marcus and Ryan are both in a breakout room right now. I'll ask one of them to come out here.
All right, thank you. Just give us a moment, Mr. Martinez. Heather Ramirez.
Hello, Judge. Good morning.
Morning. Who are you here for?
It's with Brandon Day and George Reese, Your Honor.
And that's for sentencing, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Are there attorneys here for sentencing?
That is correct. Mr. Reese is logged in. I believe Mr. Saunders is just contacting the victims.
All right, just give us a moment on that. We'll take that up. Adam Cobbs.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Adam Cobbs. Patrick Valentine. I'll send you to breakout room number 7.
Thank you, Judge.
Johnny Cisneros.
Good morning, Your Honor. Just quick question. Did you go by looks today? Because I'm way on the bottom of the list.
You are not on the bottom of the list. And what are you saying about Will Brooks?
Mr. Blake Wilburn, family violence. I'd like to speak to the prosecutor, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Will, you look great. I'm
Thank
sending you to number 8.
Thank you.
James DeWiggins. James DeWiggins, going once, going twice. James DeWiggins.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I couldn't find myself.
All right, I'm gonna send you to number 9.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Robert Ramirez. Thank you for changing your name. I'm going to send you to number 10.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Richard Garcia. Who is your
Judge,
client?
I have Joe Pope.
Pope?
He's incarcerated.
Is it Pope, P-O-P-E?
Correct.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
Criminal Trial Division.
All right, Mr. Garcia, I'm going to send you to number 11.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Will Williams.
I'm present, Judge. We've got a plea. I just need to get a breakout room with my client, and we'll be entering a plea today.
All right, has the information been sent to the court coordinator?
Yes, I chatted that to Norma when you made your announcement.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 12. Mr. Elwell, if you'll go to 12, please.
Thank you, Judge.
Will Brooks.
Morning, Judge. I have
Good
Mr.
morning.
Robert Solis. He has technology issues, i.e. does not have a camera. I did have him call in. So
Yes,
he
he's
is
here.
in the hearing, but he's without a camera, Judge.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
It's criminal trial, Judge.
All right. I'm going to send you to lucky breakout room number 13.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, have all attorneys been assigned to breakout rooms?
I have not, Judge.
All right, John Foley, is it Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
I'm not sure. I think
Were you conferring with David Martin in the past?
that's correct. Yes.
All right, so it's under Family Violence. And I'm going to send you to breakout room number 14.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other attorney has
Yes,
not been assigned?
Judge. Daniel De La Garza, I have 2. One is Matthew Gonzalez for family violence. The other one's Brian Arona. It's a trial division.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 15.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, are the parties ready on either Mr. Day or Cesar George? Day is for sentencing.
Your Honor, I believe we were ready. I know that the prosecutor was
Well,
going to take
I
up
just
on-
need someone from the state.
Yes.
Who's the person from the state handling Mr. Day?
Mr. Saunders.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Jazz.
Judge. I'm here on George, but obviously Marcus, I'm not familiar with Day. I apologize.
All right, so you're here on Cesar George, then
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Mr. Day, if you can have a seat, if we can bring Cesar George up, please.
He's not with his attorney, Your Honor.
Hey, but it's Monday. Just 1 second. I guess he's in the hallway with his attorney. Adam Cobbs, who do you have? Adam Cobbs.
Hey, Judge, sorry, I'm driving and then periodically stopping and logging back in. I've got Mark Salmon. It's supposed to be for a competency update to determine. I received a report. I don't know what the status is on it.
Have you received a report?
I have not.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. If you can check with Ms. Ferguson on that, and she'll give you a date. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And Ms. Ferguson, if you could go to number 1.
Judge, from 1, can I be excused, or do you want me to report back to the court?
You're going to have to report back to the court.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take up Mr. George.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I be excused to go to the restroom? It's CSO Del Rosario.
I'm sorry, who is this?
CSO Del Rosario.
Yes. Everyone, you may go to the restroom when you need to go to the restroom. All right. Jonathan Perez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 16.
Okay, Judge, sounds good.
And Judge, before we start on George, we do have one victim impact for after the plea.
All right. Court is calling 2020 CR 11347, State of Texas versus Cesar George. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Raymond Martinez.
And are you Mr. Cesar George?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. The court will note for the record that Mr. George and his attorney are in the courtroom. Any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
None from the state.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
The court will also note for the record that the defendant, I believe, entered his plea by video. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. The defendant did agree that he was previously convicted of one or more felonies for enhancement. At that time, the court found there was sufficient evidence to find the defendant guilty. The court found him guilty and found the enhancement true. There are certain cause numbers that are being taken in consideration. Are we all ready to proceed with sentencing, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
We are ready, Judge. We do have a couple of witnesses. Judge.
All right, witnesses for sentencing?
Yes, I know it's unusual. That's why I stepped back for a second. I was explaining to the witnesses that because we have a plea agreement, the only option the court has at this point is to follow or not follow the plea agreement. Although, because the court could theoretically give him less than what the agreed amount is, I think
Well, I mean, according to the plea bargaining agreement, it's not a cap. It's just 8 to do.
Understood, Judge. They've asked if they could speak to the court, and that's what I shared with them. But obviously, it's your call whether they.
No, I mean, I'm always willing for people to speak with if they want to speak with the court. If you could have the witness come forward, please.
Go ahead, Cesar.
All right, it has to be one at a time. All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you could state your name for the record, please.
My name is Frederick.
I'm sorry?
Frederick.
Frederick Fredericks?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, defense?
Mr. Fredericks, how do you know Mr. George?
I'm Mr. George's current employee.
And what is
Okay, hold on. Both of y'all need to speak up.
I'm sorry. I'm Cesar George's employee and a friend.
And what does he do in your employment, Mr. Fredericks?
He's a sales rep.
Okay. How long have you known him?
I've known him since 2014.
Okay. What is it that you wanted to share with the judge before she imposes a sentence in this case?
Sure. Well, first, I would like to say my condolences to the victim. However, I would also like to speak on Cesar George's character as a good and hardworking young man. Since I've actually had my car dealership that he works as a sales rep, he's nothing but helpful to the business.
And Mr. Fredericks, as when he worked for you prior to the judge imposing restrictions, was he allowed to drive vehicles?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share about him?
I'd just like to say he's very hardworking, very family oriented, and just goal driven. And I would like to see him do well in life.
Any questions from the state?
Judge, in light of us having an agreed sentence, we don't have any questions.
All right, Mr. Fredericks, thank you for coming down. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right,
Let me check it.
defense, your next witness. And before we begin with this witness, I want everyone to know that I do believe that court decorum is important. And normally I would have on my robe if I were in the courtroom. I'm in chambers and I don't have on my robe because it is extremely hot in my chambers. And we have been trying to get the temperature fixed for 3 years, and that has not happened. We still have carpet that has mold. So that is why I'm not wearing my robe. So I want the parties involved in this to know that I do take this very seriously. All right, defense, this is the next witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, could you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I cannot hear you.
Help me, God.
All right, if you could raise your hand and state the name for the your name for the record, please.
I'm Pastor Cesar Frederick.
All right, if you can lower your hand. And for the record, I want all parties to be aware that I do know the Pastor Fredericks. Does anyone have a problem with me proceeding knowing that I do know the witness that the defense has called? What I can assure you is that my personal knowledge of the witness is not going to play a role in my decision in this case, but is there any objection?
None from the state, just in light in the fact that me and Mr. Martinez, the state and Mr. Martinez has an agreed sentence in this particular case.
All right, any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed with your question.
Pastor, I briefly explained to you the way that the plea bargaining system works, correct?
Yes.
And you need to speak louder so she can hear you on the thing.
Yes, sir.
And you understand there's limitations as to what the judge can do, regardless of what evidence or testimony we put on in this hearing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she's gonna give you a microphone so you can.
Okay. Yes, sir.
But nevertheless, because you know Mr. George, is that right?
Yes, sir.
How do you know him?
Before I started, I want to send my condolences to the family.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
I want to send my condolences to the family. And I've been knowing him for years through my son. He has been working for me, and he's a very humble, calm person. And whatever happened, I believe that it's not by his making, and God knows why it happened. There's a season for everything, and there's a time. So I just want to say that he's a humble person. Whenever I call him to come and do something, he's right there. And I've been knowing him for years now. And I'm just praying that God will do something different today. Whatever that is, a good person. That is all I want to say. And he's a family man. He loves the family and he loves children so much. So that is all I have to say today.
Thank you, Pastor. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you so much for coming. Defense, any other witnesses?
I think there's one more, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Jamel Lynn.
All right, thank you. Defense?
Ms. Lynn, can you let the judge know how you're related to Cesar?
I'm Cesar's mother.
And obviously you are aware of all the circumstances of Cesar's case and how we bring ourselves to court today, correct?
Yes.
And I've also shared with you how the plea bargaining process works and what the limitations are as far as the judge's discretion in these matters, considering our plea agreement, correct?
Yes.
But nevertheless, you wanted to share some thoughts with the judge before she sentences Cesar. Is that right?
Yes. I know. My condolences to the family. Trust me, I understand, and I've been here. My husband was murdered, so in a home invasion. So to say that my son had no intentions on hurting anyone. Yes, he has road rage on driving. That's just due because at the age of 8, he was hit by a car. What the therapist or psychiatrist said was, whenever he gets behind the wheel, he's gonna challenge the speed of it, doesn't show that you can control a car at any speed. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I'm very hurt that it did, because no one should suffer the pain of a loss of someone that they love. Not like that anyway. But other than that, Cesar is very humble. He's a very good child, a husband and a father, 2 that's his and 2 that's not, that he's been taking care of. Unfortunately, I had to leave, or he wouldn't have had to drive that day. My mother was ill, so I had to go back to Detroit. I didn't want to be there, but I had to go back. Other than that, I was there driving them around because his wife was pregnant at that time and she was going through complications, very high risk pregnancy. So I was there doing everything. So now I'm back to stand by her and support her when I had to leave my mother's side, and my mother is very ill. So I'm here to support my child and pray that 8 years is a bit rough. And I'm not saying that to say, actually, you can't put years on somebody's loss, but I didn't see and know of cases that people walked away and murdered really. But I just pray that 8 years is a bit much and that he can change. He can change. And I don't think prison is gonna help that. So, but I wish I was here for the plea bargain because I wouldn't have. No. But
All right.
thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in.
And his wife.
All right, any other witnesses?
Judge, his wife is going to come up briefly. If we can just exchange the baby real quick, and she'll just take a moment.
Yes. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record, please.
My name is Leandro Gonzalez.
All right, defense?
Ms. George, you had the opportunity to visit with me, and I explained to you kind of what we're doing here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand we do have a plea agreement,
Yes, sir.
but you still wanted to share with some things, with some thoughts for the judge, if she'll give you a second, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and tell the judge what you'd like to tell.
My husband, he's not a bad person. He is a wonderful man. He never meant to hurt nobody. He will not hurt nobody intentionally. He is a wonderful father. He is good with his kids. And I honestly think that 8 years is too much for an accident where there's people out here walking away with crime that intentionally done. So I was asking if y'all can find it in your heart to give him a lesser sentence so he won't be able to be away from his kids that long. We also had a baby a year ago that it was sad for him to miss out in all her milestone. And like I said, my husband is not a bad person. He is a wonderful man and he will not intentionally hurt nobody at all. Nobody. He barely even want to kill an insect.
All right, any other questions?
Very well.
All right, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Do you have any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Judge, unless Mr. George wanted to address the court.
All right, is Mr. George, are you going to address the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Cesar George.
All right, defense.
Mr. George, you wanted to share some thoughts with the court, again, understanding the limitations that the judge has in regards to the plea bargaining process.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay, go ahead, Mr. George.
I still send my condolences to the family. That morning when I was driving, I did not mean to injure their loved one or did not know that he passed away. I got out that vehicle and I checked on him. I don't hurt anybody. I wasn't intentionally that morning speeding. I was trying to get back to my wife who was pregnant, high risk. I was trying to go get her medication that she needed. She was severely throwing up. It was a decision I did make to get in that vehicle to go help my family. I did it just because to help my wife. I'm not a bad person. I don't do anything. I did my time. I didn't get in trouble after my conviction. For 2 years, no vehicle violations, no nothing. I was a reformed man. I did everything for my family and still is and willing to. Your Honor, I'm asking it in your heart to see that you have it in your heart to help a man who knows that the system isn't for anybody.
All right, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, this is what the state, do you have any witnesses or no?
No, Judge, we have an agreed plea agreement with the defense, and we just asked the court to follow the agreed plea agreement that you had read out before these witnesses testified.
All right, so Mr. George, and to everyone, I want you to let you know that I did listen and internalize what you were saying, but nobody ever gets behind the wheel of a vehicle and intends to kill anyone. You know, of course, in certain circumstances, yes, but even people who drink and drive, before they drink and drive, they're not thinking, well, I'm going to go drink and drive and I'm going to kill somebody. Things end up happening, and they end up happening because of choices that we make. And I'm looking at your history that was included in the stipulation. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 speeding convictions. That's a problem. And that the speed limits are posted for a reason. I know there are some people who think, speed limit is 60, I'm going to go 65. But then once people go 65, then they're like, I'm going 65, why not go 70? So when you combine speeding with people upset or things are happening in their life, that's how accidents happen. Like nobody comes in intending maybe the consequences of some of their actions. You did enter into a plea bargain agreement with the state, and that plea bargain agreement that you negotiated through your attorney with the state was for 8 years. I'm going to follow your agreement, sentence you to 8 years in the prison. As previously stated, the court found the enhancement true. I'm going to give you credit for any time served. The following cause numbers are taken in consideration. County Court cause numbers 6755052, 650011, 650012, and 650013. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, Mr. George, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you need a definition of weapon or ammunition, you need to discuss that with your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Yes.
Just cover one last thing in regards to the plea bargain. I just want to make sure it's clear, and I know it's in the paperwork, that there was an agreement as part of our plea agreement that there would not be a finding of a deadly weapon in this case. I want to make sure there's no confusion when the court prepares the judgment.
That is correct, Mr. Groomer. Mr. Groomer, I know you were not the prosecutor who negotiated this plea, but that was their agreement.
I do see that written in the paperwork, Judge.
Thank you. And so to the clerks, make sure there is no finding, and I'll write that on the docketing sheet. All right, with that, we're going to go off the record. Mr. George, there is going to be what's called victim impact. So I always tell people to internalize what people are saying. I require everyone in the courtroom to treat each other with respect. So you will be treated with respect, and I'm asking, and I know that you will treat them with respect, okay? All right, who is your person? Mr. Groomer.
Yes, Judge. She's listed on here under the rollers, ROLLERS.
All right, if I could have the
role.
rollers, please show your video and unmute yourself.
And the young lady who would like to speak is Miss Sandy Sherbath, SCHERBATH.
All right, I'm still waiting for them to add their video.
I see their video, Judge.
All right, I am clicking on the roller. There we are.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Judge.
Hello. You may begin.
Before, we didn't know that they were going to have witnesses, but one thing I'd like to add before I read this is that he didn't have a license. He should not have been driving. And this never would have happened. Okay, so I'm not sure I can do this.
Okay.
My brother's going to do it.
I'm not sure I could do this.
Yes, you may start.
Cesar George, my family and I want you to know that on March 4th, 2020 was the worst day of our lives.
We'll go back and forth. That was the day that you killed our father. We want you to know about the man that you killed, the man that you took away from us forever. Our father was a great man. He honorably served his country for 22 years, but more importantly, he served his family honorably. He was a husband of 58 years, a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather, a brother, a friend, and so many other things. He was an inspiration to all those around him, and he was one of the most gentle and kind-hearted people any of us got this opportunity to know and love. He loved his family, and we loved him. Okay.
On the morning you killed him, he was simply out getting breakfast for him and his wife, like he had done so many times before. When he did not return, my mother went out looking for him and came across the accident. They had already loaded him in the ambulance, and my mother did not get a chance to see him. She did not get the chance to see him in the hospital before he died. She did not get a chance to give him a hug or to even say goodbye. You took away our father. You took away any chance of our children to know their grandfather. But it's not just his grandchildren who are left behind. He had a wife, 5 children, 9 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren, all who loved him dearly. August 2020, he would have celebrated his 80th birthday. And this January, him and our mother would have celebrated their 60th anniversary. We had looked forward to celebrating these monumental milestones, but you stole those memories from us.
I want to add something. You know, as much as those special occasions like birthdays and graduations and anniversaries and holidays mean to us, what we are going to miss the most is the everyday little things that he did. He was so special. My mom especially is going to miss him and has missed him the past 2 years. He would get up early in the morning and he would make coffee and they would watch the sunrise together because that was something that he loved so much. He would be the one who called all his friends in the morning to set up breakfast. And his friends miss those phone calls and miss hearing his voice, miss seeing him at breakfast. It's all those little things, all the things that we can't have with him anymore and that we haven't had the last 2 years that you have had, that just make this so difficult for us.
Thank you for coming down.
Well, there was a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You said it all.
Right here. Just one last paragraph, you gotta see it.
Our father's death never should have happened in this manner. Your license was revoked before the accident due to multiple driving offenses. You should not have been behind the wheel driving. More than anything, we do want you to have we do not have the chance to do this. We do not want you to have the chance to do this to another family. We do not want anyone else to go through what we have experienced. And after all this time, we truly hope that your time in prison makes you think about what you have done and hopefully to feel remorse for what you've done. Our dad did not deserve this, and neither do we.
Thank you so much for coming down. Mr. George, if you would, oh, is there another?
No.
Okay, Mr. George, if the witnesses, as I told you, I did internalize everything that was being said. The witnesses did speak of some issues that you may or may not have. If you would like, I can have you referred to the therapeutic community that takes place at the prison if that's something you're interested in. The therapeutic community at the prison doesn't reduce your time or add to your time. It's just something that's there that can help you improve yourself. I cannot force anyone to do the therapeutic at the jail. I cannot force them to accept you. But if you want, I will put a notation in the judgment that you're to be considered for that program at the prison so that you can better yourself while you're there. It is completely up to you.
He would like you to make that inclusion, Judge, please.
All right, so Mr. George, it's still at the prison. But the thing is, if you don't ask for it, they're still not even going to consider you for it. So that's something for you to do, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And as I said, it doesn't reduce the time you have to serve, and it doesn't increase the time that you have to serve. All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Mr. Groomer, do you need to speak to your witnesses in a breakout room?
Judge, I believe Aurora is going to call them on the phone, so I think that they're okay to leave the Zoom, and they'll receive a phone call here shortly.
All right, thank you. The rollers, you are free to be excused. All right, Therese.
To chat.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to take that up after I take this one. Charles Bonk and Therese Hunsinger.
Present, Your Honor.
I'm here, Judge. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
You're also on the 175th, Mr. Bonk.
I am.
I heard you both places.
Oh, nice.
All right. So we're going to take up this matter. Brenna, are you ready?
I'm ready, Judge.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Ferguson, if I could have a reset date in the chat box for Andres Martinez, please. Court is calling 2018 CR 4785A, State of Texas versus Andres Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Charles Bunk on behalf of the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Therese Hunsinger on behalf of Andres Martinez.
All right. And Mr. Martinez is not present, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, he was excused.
Yes. And so for the record, the court excused Mr. Martinez because juries have been suspended. We're proceeding with this hearing by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Judge.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. We were scheduled for sentencing today, but my understanding from the state is that sentencing cannot happen on this case because Mr. Martinez is may or may not be used at the jury trial of the co-defendant. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So this case is going to be recalled for March 22nd. That's a tentative trial date. If juries are still suspended, we will have to push that to a different date. Is there anything else from either side?
Not from the state of Texas.
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then you're both are excused.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment. All right, we have a compliance hearing with Michael Ruona.
Yes, ma'am.
And you need to take the hat off. Why do you have a hat on in court? How many times must I say that?
Well, I wasn't able to see anything earlier, so I had to log out, log back in. So
But what does that mean? Your hat is still on.
do apologize about that.
All right, do you want to have your Zoom privileges revoked?
No, ma'am.
All right, just one moment. To the clerks, there is paperwork coming to you on Bradley Elwell.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so we're here for a compliance hearing. And what is being requested is it's being requested that the GPS be removed. And the reason why I've set this for a compliance hearing, because my question is whether or not the complainant is aware that there's being a request for a GPS removal. Has anyone spoken to the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor. CSO Del Rosario.
Yes.
I spoke with Ms. Gunnels on the 20th, and she had no objections to him having the GPS removed, and that he had been in compliance with the no contact order.
All right, is there someone from the state? Because this is my concern, even though she has no objection to the GPS being removed, what he is on deferred for is violation of bond or protective orders. So the court's concern is, have there not been any further violations because he's on GPS? What is the relationship?
Your Honor, we haven't spoken specifically. I'm sorry, this is Michael Villarreal for the state.
Yes.
We haven't specifically talked about her to her about those issues, and specifically to address those questions that the court just presented. But I can have our victim advocate reach out to her today to see if to hopefully get answers to the court's questions.
All right, so Mr. Ruana, we may not need another compliance hearing with you. Mr. Rosario, what I want to know and what the state is going to get information for me is, what is their relationship? Is this one of those relationships that we're lifting the no contact order, lifting the GPS because they are going to be back together in a relationship? But my biggest concern, Mr. Ruano, is the fact that you're here for violation of bond protective orders.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm going to leave the GPS in place for now, Mr. Rosario. And once the state gives me that information, that may be lifted. But at this time, I don't want it lifted until I have that. And Mr. Villarreal, if maybe you want to get that in writing from the complainant that she is, wants to proceed with him lifting the GPS order.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll attempt to do that, but if not, I can email the court as well as the probation officer giving you that information.
All right, if you would do that, that would be acceptable.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Arielle Bustamante. And who is the prosecutor on this?
I am as well, Your Honor.
All right, and where is Mr. Rocha? And is Fabian, is his case is indicted, correct? All right, so before we go on the record, do you have documentation that he actually went to receive his drug test on the day that the court ordered?
No, we do not have that documentation yet.
Where is the documentation?
I have not received it from RMS.
That's the whole point of us being here.
I believe this is set for motion to modify bond conditions.
Yes, but before I wanted to modify bond conditions, I ordered on November 15th, he was to go to be drug tested on November 15th by 2 p.m. And I don't have anything in my possession that shows that he actually followed through on that. So I'm not prepared, and I will not be modifying any bond conditions until I have documentation that he actually followed through on the court's orders.
So will we be doing also the motion to revoke probation then? We will be hearing both matters?
Yes, if you want to come back this afternoon to see if you can get the documentation for your client, you're more than welcome to come back at that time. Or do you want to proceed now?
No, Your Honor. Well, I was not prepared for the MTR. I was just prepared for the motion to modify bond conditions.
All right, so come back at 2 p.m. and I want to see the documentation that he actually went to have his drug test on the day that the court ordered at the time that it ordered. Mr. Rocha, you're not under oath. Before your attorney does all of this, are you telling the court that on November 15th, you went at before 2 p.m. or by 2 p.m. to have your drug test done? Is that what you're telling the court?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Okay. All right, we're going to come back at 2 p.m.
Your Honor, so he currently, I would come back at 2, but he currently has a screenshot that he was at the location, and you cannot sign in if you are not at the location.
No, I'm not doing screenshots.
Okay, however, we need to find out who was working that day at RMS, who said that they would note it in their file. I spoke to them as well as Mr. Rocha, they spoke to. But I'm not sure who was working that day, and I'm not sure I could get that by 2 p.m. today.
All right, let's do our best. Okay. And we'll see where we are. I'll see you back at 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much. All right, anyone ready?
Judge, I've been here in regards to Mr. Duncan. I conferred with the state and discussed discovery issues, and that we'll be back on the 16th. I see that Mr. Duncan is also here present as well.
Okay. All right, then you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm also ready, Judge.
Just one moment. I'm slowly moving everyone around. All right, Bud Ridnour, are you on Weetron?
I am, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
And that's Criminal Trial Division. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge, it's Paul Vasquez. I'm ready as well.
Okay, just give me a moment. Kenneth Baker, I had renamed you and sent you to a breakout room. Were you able to go to that breakout room?
Yes, and I'd conferred with the state. Whenever the court has time, we're ready to proceed on our motion, Judge.
All right, just one moment. Pat Hancock, who do you have? You're on mute.
Judge, I have Jesus Mendoza.
He's in custody.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
Criminal trial.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me,
All right,
Judge.
just one second. Okay. Ross Rodriguez, Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
Criminal Trial Division, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. I'm going to send you to number 7.
Yes, Your Honor.
If I can find you on the screen, there you are. All right, Arlene Gay.
Your Honor.
You're on the screen, everyone. I have you on the spotlight. I have you in a specific order, so I can see you. Just give me a moment. Arlene Gay, have you been assigned to a breakout room?
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 13.
Thank you.
Everyone, if you could see everything that I see, you would say, oh, Judge, you're doing excellent. So just give me a moment. There, I'm looking at, I know you're only seeing one. I'm moving around 60 people. All right, Christine McDonald on Leticia Solis, what is happening?
Judge, I still have not been able to get a hold of my client this morning.
Okay, just give me a moment. All right, is there a prosecutor available?
Yes, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 8420, State of Texas versus Leticia Solis. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Christine McDonald.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Judge.
This hearing was scheduled at 10 a.m. It is now 11:20 a.m. Deputy Laura, has there been a Leticia Renee Solis in the courtroom?
No, Your Honor, she has not.
And there has not been a Leticia Solis on the Zoom screen. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
Your Honor, she's usually pretty responsive, but this morning I have not had contact. Should I get contact, I will let the court know, Judge.
All right, I'm noting that she has never missed appearing.
Yes, Judge.
State, do you have any objections to the court recalling this for tomorrow to see if Miss Solis will appear?
No objection, Judge.
All right, we're going to recall this. Ms. Ferguson, if we can recall Miss Solis for tomorrow, February 1st.
Yes, sir.
What time will that be? Is that at 10 or 9 a.m., Ms. Ferguson?
10 o'clock, Judge.
Okay, Judge, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll continue to call her. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick Valentine. Let's start with Leandro Gonzalez. Is that person on bond or in custody?
On bond, Your Honor, he's in our office. This plea is a to-do. So we'll need to either come back for sentencing or have a later reporting date, whatever the court prefers.
All right, has the plea paperwork been completed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I'm just waiting to receive the plea paperwork. Was it done on a different date?
It was this morning.
All right, the court hasn't received any paperwork on this case. Do you know if your client has signed all the documents?
He has. I went over it with him. I'll follow up on that.
Okay. So as soon as the court has that paperwork, we'll take it up. And who is your other client?
It is Jacob Garcia. That one's a family violence.
All right. And the clerks, if you can check on the paperwork for Mr. Gonzalez, please. All right. And what is happening with Jacob Garcia?
Jacob Garcia is a trial case, but I'm happy to confer with Ms. Hayden if she's available.
All right. So let me rename you and they will come and see you. You were previously in number 7. I'm going to move you to breakout room number 8.
Thank you, Judge.
Just one second. All right, Anita Kell.
Just, we have an agreement on Philip Kling, and I'm just waiting for paperwork.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kenneth Baker.
Yes, Judge, this is, we're here on our motion to modify conditions of bond. We were here on Friday and the state wanted to reach out to their victim. I don't think they were able to do that.
All right, just give me one moment on your case, okay?
Okay.
All right, Paul Vasquez, Liliana Barrios.
Yes, Judge, we just need a reset. We were given an offer this morning. I spoke with Michelle Hayden.
All right, Miss. So is this a new offer?
It is to us, yes. She had a previous attorney, Joel Perez.
All right, Miss Ferguson, can I have a turnaround date mid-February on Miss Liliana Barrios Contreras, please? All right, we're going to come back on February 17th. That will be your last plea deadline date. The court will not extend it any further. All right, you and your client are excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Richard Garcia.
Judge, so I've conferred with Mr. Pope. He is rejecting the plea bargain offer. And so I also need to file for an investigator.
Where's Mr. Pope?
He is incarcerated, Judge.
I don't see him on the Zoom screen.
He's probably still in the breakout room.
He's not.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, if you can have Mr. Pope come back, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Roberto Ramirez.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I have conferred, and my client, Monica Reynolds, is set for, she could not make the previous appointment on her mental health because she got sick and was hospitalized. But she has another appointment for next Tuesday.
Where is she now?
She is trying to log in, and my last communication with her was about 45 minutes ago, and she was indicating that her phone, she couldn't log in with her phone.
All right, so this is for mental health?
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor. Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
when is it set?
It's for February 8th at, I think she said 9 in the morning.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall her is in February after that appointment, immediately after that appointment, to make sure that she's made it? All right, we're going to come back on February 14th. And next time, if your client can't Zoom in, she's going to need to appear in person.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll let her know
Yes.
that. And I'll
All
be
right,
there
as you
too with her.
know, all right, as you know, we've been trying to coordinate this for a while now.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm very aware of it, and I do appreciate the court's patience.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who are the parties on Bradley Elwell?
Your Honor, I'm present on Mr. Elwell, Will Williams,
And who is the prosecutor?
Michelle.
Is the prosecutor available?
She looks like she's currently conferring, Your Honor. I don't know what the agreement is, if it's,
I will walk you through it. Okay, court is calling 2018 CR 13371 State of Texas versus Bradley Dwayne Elwell. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal for the state.
for the defense?
Will Williams for Mr. Elwell.
All right, and are you Mr. Elwell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
And for the state, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Just one moment. To the clerks, Mr. Elwell, I do not have the consent to appear by video. Just one moment, everyone.
Brad, did you get the email from Ms. Ferguson?
Yep, and I signed it.
All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Elwell, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Elwell, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
State, it appears that you're going on the lesser included offense of indecency with a child by exposure. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Elwell, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of indecency with a child by exposure? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Elwell, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of indecency with a child by exposure. There's an $800 fine. The state recommends deferred adjudication. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance, a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Kaylin, K-A-L-I-N, Stover, S-T-O-V-E-R, Cassandra with a C, Stover, Kalina, K-A-L-E-E-N-A, Jones, Lauren Ashlin, A-S-H-E-L-I-N, Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 8 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Kaylin Stover, Cassandra Stover, Kalina Jones, and Lauren Ashland. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the lesser included offense of indecency with a child by exposure, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Judge, I'm sorry. Mr. Elwell wanted me to ask you a quick question before you entered the plea. He works as a chef at a restaurant, and there are employees who are under 18, and we went over the sex offender, the big laundry list of conditions, and one of them was no contact with anyone under 17 unless approved by the court. And does the court usually have an issue with employment at
Well, I mean, it's at a restaurant. If the state has no issue with him working at a restaurant,
Okay.
then, the court will have no objection to that, but it depends. Is it Chuck E. Cheese?
No.
Is it,
It's
so-
not a kid-centric restaurant. No.
Yes. So otherwise, yes. So then
Right.
to the offense, is it a place that caters to children, Mr. Elwell?
No, ma'am.
All right. Then to the,
Not specifically to children. It is a family establishment and children do frequent, but no, ma'am. It's not centered there, if that
so
makes
it's
sense.
not like, what is the name of the place, Brenda? The Forest Cafe? Is it Rainforest Cafe?
Yeah, it's not like that, Judge.
Is it Rainforest Cafe, Mr. Elwell?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then to the offense of indecency with a child by exposure, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, at this time, state offer states exhibit number 1 and its attachments.
Any
No objection, Your Honor.
objections? Mr. Elwell, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right, for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding the guilty if you apply for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Judge, Michelle and I didn't know if you were going to want a PSI on this.
Are you proceeding with sentencing? Or are you requesting a PSI? Yes.
Sorry if I may hop in. Michelle Hayden for the state. We are okay with waiving the PSI, but the victim did want to give victim impact and she's having trouble logging in at the moment. So I don't know if you want to wait or.
We can recall this for this afternoon to go forward with sentencing. Mr. Williams, are you able to come back this afternoon?
I will. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll come back at 2 p.m. Ms. Hayden, If for any reason she's unable to log in, just let the court know.
Okay.
Judge, will it be the same link or will we get a new link?
No, it will be the same link.
Okay. Can Mr. Elwell and I be excused until 2 p.m.?
Yes.
Can I go to a breakout room and explain to him what's going on?
Yes.
And be excused from there?
Yes, Mr. Elwell, I'm going to send you to breakout room. Let me see where you are. All right, Mr. Elwell, I'm going to send you to number 10.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, I'll send you to 10.
Thank you, Judge, and we'll see you at 2.
Thank you.
Oh, Judge, actually, I think she's in now. I don't know if you want to go ahead and do it.
All right, if she's in now, if you can go to that breakout room and tell them she's here and we'll go for it.
Okay.
Judge, this is Bridget Garza. I'm back.
All right, who are your clients?
I have 2. They're the capital murder on Carlos Romero and Rogelio Sanchez. Cornelius isn't present, but if I can confer with the prosecutor who's handling these cases now.
And it's Rogelio Sanchez.
And Carlos Romero.
All right, and is it criminal trial division or family violence?
Criminal trial division.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room. I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, this is Adam Cobbs. I've got an update for the court when it's available.
All right, you need to show your video. That's why I can't see you.
Hold on one sec. Here I am. Pulling over as we speak, Your Honor.
Okay, because I am not going to be a part of accidents. All right, Joseph Stateson on Wesley Crawford.
Yes, Judge. This is Monica Guedetto's client. I appeared for her. I spoke with Marcus. We have a plea offer. However, you may not recall, but you signed a transfer for Mr. Crawford to go to federal custody November 2020.
Yes, it's in my docket sheet.
Okay, and our understanding is that he was sentenced in federal court already. We don't have an ETA of when he'll be out, but we have an offer today. I don't know what you want to do with the case as far as recalling it later or
all right, Mr. Who are you speaking with? Mr. Sanders?
Marcus Sanders.
All right, Mr. Sanders.
Yes, Judge.
Hi. So Mr. Crawford is actually in federal custody. When will you all know what sentence he received? And even though he's received his sentence, what are we doing with this case?
Judge, we still intend to move forward with ours. That's what I gave him an offer today. I know his client isn't here, but for him to relay whenever he has contact with him.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And do you have all the discovery?
I believe we do. If not, Monica or I will email Marcus and check with that.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a month reset? So when we come back, if you can make sure that you're aware of your client's sentence in federal court, and we will start movement on this case. All right, we're going to come back on March 10th. Thank you so much for your patience.
Oh yeah, no problem. Busy working away in the background.
Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
And let me just
Judge, I'm
find.
pulled over at this time.
All right, just 1 second. Let me find your client on the docketing sheet. There he is. All right, Bud Ridnour on Weetron.
Yes, Judge, we've conferred. I was told this morning that there's been a new blood test requested. We'll need a new trial date, but obviously it's going to have to be down the road a bit.
Well, here's my question. What new blood tests? Who is the prosecutor you're dealing with on this case?
Marcus,
Hi, so what is happening with this case? Because this case has been around since 217, which was before me. What's going on?
There are actually 7 cases, Judge.
Yes, no, I know.
Okay.
That doesn't make it better, but okay.
Makes it a little tougher, but
Yeah.
my understanding is this one involves the unindicted murder that I've been told is an extraneous at this point.
that's correct, Judge. So he has 7 cases with us. In one of them, there was some evidence collected and it was compared to one of our victims' blood. It didn't come back, but they never compared it to an unindicted murder that we plan to prove up in punishment if we got to that point. So I had it submitted for testing for that purpose, and we haven't received the lab results yet.
All right, when are the lab results coming back?
I'm not sure, Judge. I can reach out to the lab to get an update.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, on this case, can we recall it back for the beginning of March? All right, we're going to come back on March 4th. And Norma, you can let the jail know that Mr. Retron can go back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Maybe
Thank
excuse
you.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Daniel De La Garza. Would you put me in line to report back to the court?
Just a moment. I have 7 files to write in right now. Okay. Adam Cops.
Hey, Judge. Norma checked. This is on Mark Salmon. Norma and I conferred. She called over to Carruthers. It appears the report is either done or somewhere in the system.
Yes, it is completed.
Okay.
And she's emailing a copy to you.
Okay. I have not seen it, and so I don't know when the court wants to. I was going to ask for, I guess, a couple of weeks so that I could review it, but I don't have it as of yet.
All right, just one moment.
Adam, the report also came from Ms. Taylor from Ag Court.
I'm sorry?
You have 2 reports. One is from Ms. Taylor from Magistrate's Court. Norma, on Solomon, can I get a reset date in the 2nd week in February, please? All right, we're going to come back on February 11th.
211, Your Honor.
Yes, and the court has had Ms. Ferguson forward the report to you.
Okay, I'll review that. So 211, I assume it'll be by Zoom, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be present. I'll be
And
excused.
I don't know if your client was ordered, but do you need to speak with him?
Judge, I didn't see him on the screen. I didn't see him in the list, and I'm not sure if he was present last time. There may be some issues. I do not need to speak with him.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
All right, have a good day.
All right, Richard Garcia.
I'm here, Judge. I have Joe Pope. I don't know what happened to him.
He's on screen, Judge.
Yes, what is happening with Mr. Pope?
Judge, I've conferred with Mr. Pope, and he is rejecting the offer made by the Assistant District Attorney Marcus, and after conferring with him, I've discovered that I need to file a motion for investigator, which I have. I just filed it. So
Right, so what we were here for is that he had previously received an offer, and on January 10th, it was recalled for January 11th. And then it was supposed to be recalled today for him to speak to his relatives about the offer that was tendered. So today is not, or are you saying today is the first time he got the offer?
No, Judge. Today so between the last hearing and today, he has spoken with his family members, and he's also on parole. So I believe he spoke with his parole officer, and he's decided that it's not in his best interest to accept the plea bargain offer made to him the last time.
All right, so has all the discovery been tendered?
I believe it has, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson or Mr. Pope, can you set this for a plea deadline date, second week in February if possible?
And Judge, as I mentioned a minute ago, I did file.
Yes.
I did file a motion for the investigator, and so you should be receiving it
Okay, and I will sign that as soon as it comes across my desk. If it's already come across my desk, then I will sign it.
Thank you so much, Judge.
All right, you're excused. You'll come back on February 9th. Mr. Pope, your plea deadline date is February 9th. What that means is after that date, the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Norma, you can let them know 14M can go back.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, and attorneys who are waiting, if your video is not showing, then I cannot put you in line because I don't see you.
Would you put me in line, Your Honor?
Yes, a moment, yes.
Thank you.
And me too, please, Judge.
All right, just 1 second.
Me too as well, Judge.
Yeah, Jim Oldersdorf too. I want in line.
Anyone else want to call in line up, Brenda? This is like the Waltons when they do the good night and everybody's calling their name.
Well, you can call me Jim Boy then, right?
Yes, no, John Boy.
I know, but I'm not
Jim
John.
was Jim Bob.
Oh, that's right. Jim Bob was his brother.
Yes.
Judge, this is Bridget Garza.
Just a moment, you're already in line. I see you.
No,
Jim Oldersdorf. I want to be for Marcus Sanders, Judge. That's who I've been conferring with over the years. I mean,
Come out. No.
Yeah.
Just a second. Just a second. Settle down, everybody. We're getting a little rowdy. All right. Will Brooks and Robert Solis.
Judge, I think we're here for a compliance of sorts, but he is awaiting a psychological evaluation, Your Honor. And he had, in my understanding, he sent a letter to the court indicating he wanted to speak to the court. I've talked to him, Judge, and I've explained to him that that's not in his best interest, nor does he wish to address the court at this point, Your Honor.
Okay, awesome. Just 1 moment. Has this case been indicted?
It has not, Judge. I conferred but the issue was the psychological issues popped up. So I filed a motion to have him evaluated for competency as soon as they did.
All right, and Mr. Brooks, did you receive the letter that Mr. Solis sent to the court?
I did not, Judge, but he and I discussed the substance of it.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson Solis, that will be dropped then?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your excuse, Mr. Brooks. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Judge. You'll have a good day.
Thank you. Ross Rodriguez.
Hey, Judge.
Hi.
I spoke with Brittany and she has made me an offer, and I've talked with my client about that already. But I do need a reset, Judge. He's not a U.S. citizen, and I need to find out exactly what the ramifications will be on any type of plea, Your Honor.
All right, is he a Spanish speaker now?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Spanish speaker?
No, he speaks English, Judge. It's just he's not a U.S.
Oh,
citizen.
no, I always ask. All right, so is this are you hired or appointed?
I'm hired, Your Honor.
All right, is he able to afford a immigration attorney?
I don't know. That's why I want to find out some things, Your Honor.
All right, let me put you in the breakout room, find out if he can afford an immigration attorney. If not, we'll appoint one.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Yes, Your Honor.
Daniel De La Garza.
Yes, Your Honor. I have 2 cases on the docket. One of them is Matthew Gonzalez. That one has a motion to alter and amend conditions of bond.
Have you conferred with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement?
There is not.
All right, and what's your next case?
The other one is Brian Arona. It's a motion to revoke. I have an offer, but I do not see the defendant on the Zoom screen. So
Is he in custody or on bond?
he's in custody, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm going to put something in the chat.
All right, just one moment. All right, John Foley on Brianna's.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Sorry, one sec. I'm trying to unmute. There we go. So we have sort of an offer, Judge, but we're nowhere close. I think we're going to need a trial on this case.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, who is the prosecutor on Brianna's?
Michelle Hayden.
All right, when was this offer made? Is this a new offer?
It is a new offer that I've made. I'm not sure if previous offers had been made. I know the case has been around for a while, but it was made today by me.
And Judge, no previous offers have been made on this case because if you'll remember, I'm sure you
Yes,
don't
I do.
remember, but this case was re-indicted. And so, that this is the first offer on that.
No, I know we had a plea deadline date today on March 31st, but I understand that the state is making a new offer. I'll extend the plea deadline date, but there will be no further extensions. The last time we were here, my understanding is that you had all the discovery and we were set for a jury trial.
Judge,
Yes.
there is apparently there are some records from the NICS that are new that Ms. Hayden and I spoke about this morning. She's getting that to me.
And Judge, those have been uploaded for a while, but I know because this case is so evidence heavy, Mr. Foley's had trouble downloading just the volume of records from e-discovery. So he's got a thumb drive that has some other evidence from before I was in this court. I'm just going to go grab it and add those records to it so he can pick them up.
All right, when are you going to pick the records up?
I'll pick them up. I'm assuming they'll be there. What, today? Is that?
I should be able to take care of it today.
Okay,
All
then
right,
I can. Sorry, I was gonna answer your question, Judge. Then I can pick them up tomorrow.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we're going to recall Ms. Brianna's for late February to see where we are. And I don't know if there's new evidence in the NICS records or not that may change each party's viewpoint on what the offer is. But what's going to happen is we're going to come back either on the 25th or 28th, Mr. Falling. Which date for you?
Can I have just a second, Judge? Let me check that. You said the 25th or the 28th?
Yes.
I've actually got settings both days, but I mean, I can bounce back and forth. So
25th or 28th?
25th, I guess, Judge.
All right, so we're going to come back on February 25th. What's going to happen at that time? Mr. Falling, make sure you have all the discovery. When we come back, I'm going to give you a plea deadline date. All right, if there's nothing else, you and your client are excused.
Very good. Thank you, man. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge Michelle had told me that the victim for the victim impact statement on Mr. Elwell was now present. I just wanted you to know that Mr. Elwell and I stayed on for you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Patrick Hancock on Mr. Mendoza.
Judge, I conferred with Ryan Groomer. My client's in custody. There were some electronics that Tom had come in possession of, and he forwarded them to the detective. And Ryan's going to check on the status of any new discovery regarding that. And I was passing the message on to you.
All right.
That's correct, Judge. I just
30-day
exactly what.
reset.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Sorry, Judge.
no problem. Norma, on Mr. Mendoza, can we have a 30-day reset, please, in the chat box? All right, and is the discovery already uploaded or is there something else?
It's not been uploaded yet, Judge, because I don't think it's been looked at forensically.
Correct, Judge. I don't think we have it in-house yet. I need to try to run it down and figure out where it's at and what the status of it is, but I'll try to do that this afternoon and tomorrow.
All right, and do you think you'll have that information by the date of March 8th?
I think so. At the minimum, I'll have a status update, Judge. I know they're going to forensically download some stuff is what Pat's telling me. So I can check. Hopefully that stuff has already been started and I can just give him the results. But if not, I can at least give the court and him an update.
All right, thank you. All right, then you and your client are excused. Everyone, just give me 2 minutes, please. And Ms. Ferguson, you'd like them to know that 14B can go back, and Mr. Hancock, you're excused. And we'll be back on March 8th for discovery.
Thank you, Judge. Goodbye.
All right, Daniel De La Garza.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Oh, I'm here on Matthew Gonzalez, which is a motion to alter and amend conditions of bond. And then Brian Arona, who is a defendant that's in custody.
All right, I don't see Mr. Matthew. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's on.
Just one moment. And Arona. All right, Mr. Garza, just let me take up the moment, the plea with Mr. Day, please, first.
Okay.
All right, where is Will on Mr. Day? Or Mr. Elwell, I believe.
Judge, I'm here.
All right, and who is the prosecutor?
Judge, it was Michael and then it was me. So either one of us can.
Okay. All right, we are back on the record in 2018 CR 13371. Are you proceeding with sentencing, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, we would ask that you follow the plea agreement and grant the deferred adjudication. We don't have any witnesses to present. We're just asking that you follow the agreement. We are going to be asking for permission for him to transfer his supervision to Indiana, and I'll get the court and probation the exact county on that. He's going to be working for his brother as a chef at a restaurant that his brother's opening that we had talked about before. So we'll be asking for permission for that, but I don't have any witnesses to call.
The transfer where?
Transfer to Indiana. I've got to get you the exact county. I'll get that for you. And I can have that to you or to probation today or tomorrow at the latest.
All right, anything from the state?
Judge, we just have victim impact.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Elwell? You want to unmute yourself, Mr. Elwell? Anything you wish to say?
No, Your Honor. Sorry, thought I was unmuted.
All right, so I've read the stipulations. It doesn't appear that you were intoxicated or anything of that nature. What is your relationship now with the family?
I'm still close with my brother and my mother. Other than that, I don't talk to anybody else.
Do you have any children?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are their ages?
My two daughters are 14 and 15.
Where do they live?
Orange Grove, Ohio.
Do any children live with you?
No, ma'am.
Are you in a relationship with anyone?
Sort of. It's complicated.
That's something you put on Facebook. It's complicated. So the person you're with, is that your girlfriend? Does she spend nights with you? Does she have any children?
She has children. She lives in Indiana.
And what are those children ages?
One's 16, fixing to turn 17. The other one's 14, fixing to turn 15.
All right. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Positive.
For what?
THC.
How often are you doing that?
Not all the time, but occasionally I use it to help me sleep because of PTSD.
PTSD from what?
10-year combat vet.
You're not allowed to use drugs while you're on probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. It's $800 fine that'll be probated, 8 years deferred adjudication, Chapter 62 compliance. There's to be no contact with Kaylin Stover, Cassandra Stover, Kalina Jones, Lauren Ashland. There's to be no unsupervised contact with any minors. Proof of employment within 30 days. No employment as a healthcare provider or with minors. And when I say with minors, that means that he is not to be supervising minors in any way whatsoever. If you are living in a home with children, that is not going to be allowed unless there is an approved chaperone.
Yes, ma'am.
So no living with minors unless with an approved chaperone, and that will go through probation. 100
sure.
hours community service restitution. 40 of those will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring anyone to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be deducted, and that vaccination has to include the booster shot. We'll do a transfer to Indiana, but you'll need the city. Where are you going to, what city is this?
Seymour,
How do you spell that?
I have no clue.
Judge, I'll
Going
look
to
it up for you
someplace
right
where
now.
don't know?
I have never written it down, Your Honor.
What
It's-
county is it?
That I don't know. I have to get with my my girlfriend.
Judge, Seymour is spelled Seymour. And I'm getting you the county right now.
Right, thank you.
It looks like it is Jackson County.
All right, okay, allow transfer to Seymour, Indiana, Jackson County. Again, you're not to have unsupervised contacts with minors. You're not going to be living in a home with minors until there's an approved chaperone. Do you understand? So if you're transferring and your transfer plan is, I'm going to transfer there and I'm living with my girlfriend, that's not going to happen because probation hasn't provided you with an approved chaperone. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
While he's in San Antonio, Ms. Reyes, and when he's in Indiana, I'm going to want field visits 2 times per month, random. And I'm going to want him tested for levels while he's here. And then we'll do the UA hotline. Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Elwell, is there anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now here's the other thing, Mr. Elwell. Does the person you're going to be living with, do they know about these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I always want to ask that question. All right, with that, we'll go off the record. State, you said you had victim impact.
I do, and I see that she signed in. It's Cassandra Stover.
She's not the victim.
Mr. Elwell.
Brad, hold on.
All right, Mr. Williams, do you have any objections to Miss Cassandra Stovall Bodie giving impact?
Judge, I believe by statute, as the mother of the victim, she's going to be allowed to do it. So no objection.
All right, thank you. Here's the thing, Mr. Elwell. I require that everyone in this court treat everyone with respect. Whether you internally respect someone or not,
yes, sir. I
you're going to
understand.
fake it. So here's the thing. So there's going to be victim impact. You're going to listen to the victim impact, and you're going to be quiet while you listen to the victim impact. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Bodie, you may start.
That night had affected me in ways that I cannot explain. It's like I died on the inside and I came back to life. It hurts, but I cannot explain it. When you touched me, it hurt because I had my legs closed and I felt you touch me. I had my legs locked and you wrapped your legs around mine and forced it open. It hurt so bad. I was so scared. After that night, I'm too scared to go back to my grandmother's house. I even told my mom that I do not feel safe at my grandmother's house, so we moved. And I know that I should not still be scared after all these years. But there's nights that I think that you will come and find me and do it again. I don't know what I had done wrong or what I had messed up on to make you so mad at me. I am so scared, but I just think that you need to be in jail. I hate that night. I hate the way that it made me feel and how it had affected me. If possible, Your Honor, may I add my statement as well?
Yes.
I want to start off by saying you were my hero. I looked up to you. You were my big brother, my protector. You were the protector of my children. You were Kaylin's godfather, her uncle, her safe place. You were her Uncle Bubba. You are now nothing to her. I refuse to use your name in my house or around my children. You have no clue the damage that you have caused. From what I have seen, you don't care either. And one night you would turn my sweet, innocent little girl into a ball of hatred and depression. It's not fair that you not only ruined my life as a child, but my child's as well. I hope you look yourself in the mirror every day and see the monster that you have become. I trusted you with everything I had. Now every time I hear your voice or your name, I get filled with so much hate, it is unreal. We were raised not to hate, but it's kind of hard when something like this happens. It is unfair. Because of you, I have lost the little bit of my dad's family. Because of you, I want nothing to do with you. I love my family, but everybody wants to defend you when we all know you did wrong. That's fine. They can defend you. I don't care. I want no part of it. The last thing I want to say to you is I hope you can live with yourself, knowing what you have done and how many lives you have destroyed and ruined.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hayden, do you all need to speak with her in a breakout room?
Yes, please.
Ms. Bodie, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. A prosecutor will meet you there.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you send me as well, Judge? This is Marina.
Yes.
Thank you.
Judge, I know Brad needs to speak with probation.
Yes.
May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Mr. Elwell, I'm going to send you to a breakout room with probation. They're going to meet you in breakout room number 6. And could I see Mr. Day, please? Who are the attorneys on Day?
Marcus Sanders and George Ruiz.
Hello, Judge. Let me get him online.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, everyone, keep the patience in your pocket. I know. All right, Patrick Valentine, I'm Jacob Garcia.
Judge, that's a trial case. I've conferred with Michelle on discovery issues, and we'll just need to roll it forward.
All right, so the last time we were here on January 10th, the defense was going to provide a thumb drive. So has that been done?
It has, and that discovery has been received.
All right, so has an offer been tendered?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had a chance to review this discovery?
Not the one stuff that was provided last week, but generally, yes, we have.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Garcia, is your client in custody or on bond?
On bond.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Garcia, can I get a plea deadline date, please? And if you can put that in February. All right, we're going to come back on February 16th. If you don't have any, and that will be your plea deadline date. If you don't have anything else with the court, you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Judge. I do have the plea on Leandro Gonzalez. I don't know if you've received the paperwork yet.
Let me check. Just give me one moment.
Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez is not in his seat. So are the attorneys here on Mr. Day?
Yes, Judge.
Where is the attorney for Mr. Day?
Right here, Your Honor.
You say right here, what is your name, please?
George Reese, Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 1476, State of Texas versus Brandon Day. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
George Reese.
All right, we are here today for sentencing. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. The court will note for the record that the defendant is present in the courtroom. Any objections to us proceeding by sentencing with video, state?
No objection.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Day, any objections to us proceeding by video?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we were here on January 27th. The court found you guilty of count 1, paragraph B. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client before the court passes sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 4 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. State will take in consideration the following cause numbers. Each cause number begins with the number 651. It will be 258, 259, 260, 261, 262, 263, 264. There's to be no contact with Caterina Espinoza, Veronica Espinoza, Portia Quimine. The court will give you credit for any time served. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Day? Sorry?
I said just impact statement afterwards.
All right, Mr. Day, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because the court followed the plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If there is a question over what a weapon is, you'll need to contact your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, who is speaking with victim impact?
Caterina and Vanessa Espinoza, under Caterina's iPhone and Vanessa.
All right, Mr. Day, you've heard me say it before, so I will say it again. I require that everyone treat everyone with respect. So there are going to be 2 people who are going to be speaking with you. So if you can please just internalize what is being said. All right. All right, who wants to proceed first? Caterina or Vanessa?
I'll go first.
All right, thank you.
I really hope that you never do this again. That night you pointed a gun at me and my kids and my sister and her kids. You held a gun to my back and I felt like I was gonna get shot in front of my kids. And it scares me till this day. And it scares my kids. So I really hope that you learn from what you did and that it doesn't happen again to anybody. And that's all.
All right, thank you. Vanessa?
Yes, I just want to say that me and my kids are scared to go in public by ourselves. I really hope that you learn from this, and I hope nobody has to go through with getting a gun pointed at them and their kids in public or anywhere else. And I hope that you just learn, and hopefully you think before you do something, especially with kids around. And that's it.
All right, thank you. And I mean no disrespect by calling you all by your first name. It's just that on the Zoom screen, you only have your first name. There's no last name. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Deputy, you may take Mr. Day. All right, State, do you need to speak with them in a breakout room or no?
No, Judge, we'll contact them.
All right, thank you. All right, on Mr. Daniel De La Garza, on Brian Arona, that's going to be reset because he's ill. Ms. Ferguson, what date are we giving Mr. Arona? February 16th, Mr. De La Garza.
Sounds good, Your Honor. I'll be back on that one. Thank
All
you.
right, and just one moment. And everyone, I do appreciate your patience. I know it's taking a little bit longer than anticipated, but we are moving as quickly as possible, and I'm trying to move us so that you won't have to reappear this afternoon. So bear with me. Bridget Garza, your cases.
Judge, I was chatting with Ryan, and it appears that he's handling Rogelio Sanchez. If I can confer with Ryan, and we're still trying to figure out who's handling Carlos Romero.
All right, Mr. Groomer, I'm going to send Ms. Garza into a breakout room. I'll send her to breakout room number 4.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. And Patrick Valentine, maybe we will be able to get the plea done now. Is your client in his seat?
He is, Your Honor.
All right, and who is the prosecutor on this?
That's Michelle Hayden. Oh, I'm sorry. This one's Marcus.
I think the weather is causing brain fog.
Yeah.
And Judge, before you call this one on the last case, Brennan Day, I missed it. Aurora said that maybe the name was incorrect as Veronica when it should be Vanessa.
Yeah, you did say Veronica.
Oh, okay. That's what was in the plea paperwork. Then I will make sure that that correction is on the docketing sheet and the correction is on the judgment.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Thank you for catching that. Let me make sure. Yes, it has Veronica Espinoza in that. So you're saying it's Vanessa Espinoza?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, no, it happens. Because Brenda, I was like, am I making up names? Okay. So to the clerks in the back, on Brandon Day, the name of the no contact order is Vanessa Espinoza. All right, everyone, just give me a moment, please. Okay, everyone, thank you for your patience. All right, court is calling 2019 CR 6843, State of Texas versus Leandro Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Patrick Valentine for Mr. Gonzalez.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections?
Objection.
None from the defense.
Mr. Gonzalez, do you have any objections? Mr. Gonzalez, any objections?
No, ma'am.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Valentine, I'm showing you what's entitled Discovery Acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
We have and we did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do so waive, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, proceeding on count one, waiving count two, and the enhancement paragraph.
I'm sorry, waiving count 2 and
The enhancement paragraph?
any objection?
No objections.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court's Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is evading arrest, detention with a vehicle? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, off the record. Mr. Kling, I need you to go to breakout room number 14. To the clerks, if you go to 14 and swear him in, please. We're back on the record. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain agreement. Did you review that document, that page with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1, evading in a motor vehicle. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 3 years in the prison. There are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have been none, Your Honor.
Then to count 1 in the indictment, how do you plead, Mr. Gonzalez? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, State Opera States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objections.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to confront and cross-examine any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. We're setting this for a sentencing date. What time are you requesting, Mr. Valentine?
Your Honor, we would request sometime at the end of February to give, Mr. Gonzalez has some dental issues he'd like to take care of before he goes into TDC, as well as making family arrangements.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Gonzalez, can you set this for the 3rd week of February? All right, so we're going to come back on February 25th.
Thank you, Your
All right,
Honor.
we'll see you on February 25th for sentencing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bridget Garza.
Yes, hi, Judge. On Rogelio Sanchez,
Yes.
I've conferred with Ryan, and there's still a lot of discovery that we are missing. Obviously, Ryan has just been transferred to that court, so he needs to get up to speed. But I need to provide him a USB so that he can download everything for the defense.
All right, so Mr. Groomer, do you actually have the discovery?
I think so, Judge. From talking to Bridget, it sounds like there was just some just facilitating us getting it on a discovery, or I'm sorry, a disk drive for them or whatever. She's going to bring me one. She says in the next week or so. It'll take me about a week to turn it around and get it back to her. But my plan would be to just get everything on a thumb drive for her, and then that way she has it all. In addition to on e-discovery, the stuff that she can't get or can't download will be on a thumb drive, and she can have it in her possession.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this for the end of February for discovery and make sure everyone has everything? All right, we're going to come back on February 28th. Do you need to speak with your client or can he be excused?
I can speak with him, but I also have Carlos Romero, Judge.
And Brenna, I know my promise to you for 12:30, we just have one plea. Are you okay to do one more plea?
Of course.
And we'll take our break. All right,
Yeah, that's
thank you. All right, who's your other client, Ms. Garza?
Carlos Romero.
What is with Mr. Romero and who's on this?
It's Cornelius and I, Your Honor, and we figured it out. It looks like Ryan is handling this case.
Okay, so what is happening with Mr. Romero?
So it looks like he has an indicted burglary of habitation. He has an unindicted capital murder that I am looking into for Bridget and trying to figure out where we're at on it. I'll be checking with the intake division and kind of getting her an answer on where we are discovery wise and potentially where it's going towards indictment.
All right, so Ms. Garza, I know we try to keep these cases together, but I think it would be best if you're not here on the same date for each of these. So Ms. Ferguson, on Romero, could we set this in March? Will that give everybody enough time, Ms. Garza and Mr. Groomer, to know what is happening with the unindicted capital murder case? I'm assuming that's the one that's going to be driving the train.
I think so, Judge. I think yes to both of those. I think that it is going to be the one driving the train, and I do think it'll be enough time for me to figure out what's going on.
All right, are you okay with the March 7th date, Ms. Garza?
March 7th.
Yes.
Can it be the week after, Judge? That's
okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Ms. Ferguson, can we put it the week after March 7th? March 7th. All right, so we are accommodating here. We're doing March 16th.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, do you need to speak with him?
Yes.
Because I try to get them to get their lunch, because sometimes if they don't get their lunch, they miss their lunch. Even though it's probably bologna, but. All right, I'm gonna send you to number one. Who do you want first?
Mr. Sanchez.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, if you'll go to one. All right, Jose, Ross Rodriguez on Jose Lozano.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. I have conferred with them if the court could be gracious enough to appoint an immigration attorney.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I get an immigration attorney here on Mr. Lozano? And I'm going to need you to remain until that immigration attorney zooms in.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second, Judge.
All right, thank you. Daniel De La Garza.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here on Matthew Gonzalez, motion to alter and amend conditions of bond.
Is that case an indicted or no?
There are two of them, Your Honor, and they are not indicted. It's a CM and a night mag.
right, have you conferred with the state?
I have, Your Honor, and they do not agree to it.
All right, Mr. De La Garza, I know you've been extremely patient with the court and I appreciate it. Are
Keep it
you
in mind.
available? Are you available to come back this afternoon? I'm so sorry.
At 3 o'clock, I need to pick up my kid from school, but
No,
otherwise,
if you can come back at, are you able to come in at 2? Is there a lot of witnesses?
no, there's not.
Does that still give you enough time?
No, there's not a witness. There's no witnesses, Your Honor. I'm just proffering the information to you.
All right, if you could come back at 2, that would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll be back. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Wiggins on Whitehorn.
Yes, Judge, thank you.
Yes.
I conferred with the state. Mr. Whitehorn was just returned to competency late last week. So the state needs to reach out to its complaining witnesses. They're not ready to really make me an offer or do anything at this time.
All right, Ms. Ferguson on Whitehorn, who is the state you were speaking to?
Oh, where'd he go?
You're right, Judge.
Yeah. All right, when are you gonna have contact, you believe?
I'm gonna reach out this week. We should be able to do.
All right, if we set this later in February, will that give you enough time?
Yes, Judge, it should.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you set this in February, please?
I'm sorry, Judge, were you talking to me, Judge?
Yes, taxi
I'm sorry,
driver.
I was on the
That's
phone
our
with the
taxi
immigration
driver,
attorney.
yes. No problem. On Whitehorn, can we have a date set in February, please?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do February.
All right, we're going to come back February 15th.
Okay, Judge, when I first got on, my client was not here, but he's here now. Can I be put in a room with him, please?
Yes, Mr. Whitehorn, I'm going to send you to breakout room with your attorney. We're going to recall your case on February 15th, so the state will have a chance to speak with their witnesses, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. I'm going to send you number 4.
Okay.
Have
a great day.
Thank you.
And click join. Do you see it, Siraj? There you go.
Judge, I send you a chat.
All right. Thank you. All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 9054, State of Texas versus Philip Kling. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Joe Ray Garcia.
For the defense?
Anita Colley on behalf of Mr. Kling.
And are you Mr. Kling?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Kling, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Romero, if you'll go to breakout room number 1 to speak to your attorney, please. Mr. Kling, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review it with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Kling, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you
Yes.
electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand you're charged with theft under $2,500 enhanced? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Judge.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement, and gives you more than you bargained for. The fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Judge.
And did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes,
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he was, Judge.
Mr. Kling, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Judge.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No, Judge.
Are you satisfied with the way you're represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 60 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code, and there's a $1,000 fine. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Judge.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Judge.
Then to the offenses charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State offers State Exhibit 1 and all its attachments.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
Mr. Kling, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Judge.
All the appropriate places.
Yes, Judge.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. And the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty after reviewing evidence. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Court will follow your agreement. The court will sentence you to 60 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44 of the Penal Code. There's a $1,000 fine, time and money were one concurrent, give you credit for any time served. Is this a judgment satisfied?
Judge, he has about 32 days in, so depending, I guess it's up to the.
Yes. Mr. Kling, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a question over what a weapon is, you'll need to contact an attorney for that definition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Brenda, you're excused. Mr. Kling, good luck to you. You need to change your ways. Stop stealing. Either you're going to end up spending the rest of your life in and out of jails, in and out of prisons, or you're going to change your life.
Yes,
You got
Your
to
Honor.
make the change, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Judge, can I be excused?
Yes, and Norma, Mr. Kling can go back. And everyone,
Thank you.
I appreciate you all have been very, very patient. Gonna need some more patience. We're gonna come back at 2:00. Brenna has to take a break. I can't have her here because she's typing down everything that I say. And as you can tell, when it's late and I'm trying to get her out, instead of slowing down, I end up speaking faster, which makes it harder for her. So I'm gonna apologize to her when I see her. So everyone, just come back at 2:00. If you have any paperwork, I promise you it will be done. And the person who's waiting on the immigration attorney, I need you to stay on the Zoom because the immigration attorney is going to Zoom in.
Yes, Judge.
Your Honor, this is Arlene Gay. I have the only person left in the courtroom, Bianca Sanchez.
Yes.
She's been here. This is a PTD application and it was filed. We're just waiting.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you check on that to see if that's been completed and give me a date on Ms. Sanchez? And so everyone else.
Judge, Jim Ultersdorf, I've conferred and given an offer to Mr. Schultz, and we couldn't reach an agreement.
Okay, if everyone could come back at 2 o'clock, because even though the court reporter needs a break, I would like to take a break and have lunch. I haven't had breakfast this morning, and I know you all would like a break as well. So everyone,